from the moment we take back the White House from Comrade Kamala Harris, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. We will carry out the largest deportation operation of criminals in American history. We will defeat inflation quickly, and we will make America affordable again. We're getting your prices way down. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. You know, I already had it above Russia and Saudi Arabia. Then we had a terrible result in a horrible election, an election where I got, remember, more votes than any sitting president ever by far, by millions. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world. Think of it. We are standing on more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world, and we're going to use it. In 12 months, I will cut your energy costs in half, and that includes heating, air conditioning, electricity, and gasoline for your car. Right? As part of our efforts to increase housing affordability, I will work with your governor to open up new tracts of federal land for large-scale housing construction, and you'll get it for a much lower price. More than 80% of all land in Nevada is owned by the federal government. Governor Lombardo has sent 3 letters to the Biden-Harris administration asking them to open up some of this land to help alleviate the crisis, but Kamala and Crooked Joe did not even have the decency to reply to those requests. Under the Trump administration, the pleas of Nevada will be ignored no longer. We're going to open it up. We'll start with a small portion. You'll get it going, and then we're going to open up large portions of land. We will create special new zones with ultra-low taxes and ultra-low regulations to allow the development of really extraordinary new housing at a proper price, while also bringing jobs and industries to Nevada, like the movie industry, the technology industry, and the massive manufacturing plants from foreign nations will be coming into your state, and that means jobs. And if I pull this off with the help of your governor, a lot of Hollywood will be moving from California, because right now you don't have the land, because you don't have the land. It's owned by the federal government. We're going to open up that land to you. You'll be able to build studio lots and everything else. Millions and millions of Americans will be able to take part in building these clean, safe, and beautiful new communities, reviving the frontier spirit and the American dream, something you don't hear much about anymore. It's going to be done right here in Nevada. Next, I will turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower more than it has ever been before. We're going to bring back the car industry, too. We're going to bring back the car industry. And we're not going to let China and Mexico sell cars into the United States that are going to just take back our jobs. They're going to have to pay 100%, maybe a 200% tariff, because we don't want those cars. We want to make our own cars in our country. We'll do it better than them. Other countries that make us pay a tax to do business with them will be charged the same tax when they send their product into the United States. It will be called the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. In other words, if China or any other country charges us a 100, 200, or 300% tax, which they actually charge, then we will charge them a 100, 200, or 300% tax in return. Right now, we charge them nothing. My message is simple. Make your product here in America, and only in America. That's what we wanted. My plan is that if you open your factory in Nevada, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, or anywhere else in the United States, you don't pay a tariff. You don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is pay the workers, and the workers are going to be you. But if you move your production outside of the United States and send it back here, you will have to pay a massive tariff, and we don't even want your product even if you pay it. We are going to very quickly supercharge our country. And when I'm back in that beautiful White House, we will pass larger tax cuts for workers. And we have a special tax that here is going to do, I think, quite well. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. Did you see when I announced that a long time ago, all of a sudden she announced it, and she was met with rebuke. And you know, they can't do it anyway because they have so much legislation in that makes sure that you pay your tax on tips. And it didn't go over too well, but we are going to do it. We'll get it done fast. You know, they said they were going to cut the school lending when you borrow money to go to school. They were going to cut it. They were going to cut it down to nothing. Guess what? A big thud. Never happened. It never happened. You know why? Because they're all talk and no action. And you saw that the other night at the debate. She was all talk. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to cut tax, and then I'm going to give you $25,000 for a house, and then I'm going to go, you know, over and over. And I said very simply at the end of my last little statement, why haven't you done it? You've been there for 3.5 years. Why haven't you done it? Right, Michael? Why haven't you done it, Michael? Right, Michael? Why haven't they done it? I said, we will leave this debate stage, which is just a waste of time anyway. I will go with you to Washington, and you can announce the closure of the border. You know, she doesn't need a bill. I didn't have a bill. I said, we're closing the border. We closed the border. And we had the greatest chart of all time. You want to put up that chart if you can find it, the border chart, my all-time favorite in the history of charts. Yeah, I love that chart. I'm going to sleep with that chart. That chart saved my life. Can you believe it? Just like that. I said, put up the chart. I went like that to look at it. Ping. That chart, think of it, illegal immigration saved my life. See that? That is the most beautiful document I've ever seen. But you see the arrow on the bottom? That's when I left office. That's the lowest point in the history of our country for illegal immigrants to come in, but also drugs and everything else that was coming in bad. That point is the lowest, and then as soon as they took over, look, it became a rocket ship. Look at that, like a rocket ship, and our country was destroyed. We had it under control. That's the lowest point in the history. That was done by Border Patrol, that chart. But regardless of the numbers, I love that chart. I'm sorry. Additionally, I will fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, no cuts. And we will have no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. No tax on Social Security. And then we wheeled out a great one, and I actually think this is going to be fantastic for the country as well as the worker, because a lot of people are going to be working overtime. And just yesterday I announced that there will be no taxes on overtime. No taxes on overtime. We will terminate the Green New Scam. I call it the Green New Scam, Green New Deal, Green New Scam. It's the greatest scam. You know what they were going to spend? $97 trillion. Where are they going to get that money? That's more money than every country in the world has. It's a scam. They were going to spend $97 trillion. And you know, the time is coming up. Remember, they said we only have 12 years to live because the environment is going to kill us, right? That time is very close. Somehow I'm not worried. I am worried about nuclear because, to be honest with you, we have incompetent people dealing on it. You're going to end up in World War III. You're going to have a nuclear holocaust if we're not careful. These people have no idea. Our people have no idea what they're doing. And I will keep you out of World War III. I'm the only one that's going to be able to do it. But we're going to spend all of that Green New Scam money on roads and bridges and real infrastructure and paying down debt. We're going to pay down debt. And, you know, we're going to have growth like this country has never seen before. We're going to get that debt way down. We're going to get your interest rates way down so you can buy the house. You can have the American dream. I had interest rates at 2%. And now they're 10% and you can't get the money. You can't pay the money anyway, too expensive. But you can't get the money. We're not going to have fake infrastructure that's caused massive inflation. You know, the Inflation Reduction Act, which is a fake deal, they actually said about 6 months ago they never expected it to do anything for inflation. It was a scam to get more money for the environment. So listen to this, very important, I think. You haven't heard the word environment in 7 months. You know why? It doesn't play. It doesn't play. We want clean air, we want crystal clear water, beautiful water, and we want an unbelievable country, and we want an economy that's better than it's ever been before. The environment isn't playing. They don't mention it anymore. You know, with all the money they spent, wasted on all this nonsense that they did, the apartment, your windows have to be smaller, preferably don't have any windows at all. They showed me a building, an ideal building. I said, what is that? Is it a bunker? No, this is a building. It's a modern building. It had no windows. Let's try selling one of those apartments. You have not small windows. You had no windows. Because it's good. The sunlight doesn't go through, okay? Look, she's laughing. That's crazy, isn't it? I don't know if you're laughing or crying. I'm sort of crying about it. It's crazy. These people are crazy. We want a new building, and they want to knock down all those beautiful buildings in Manhattan and rebuild them with no windows. We don't want one building in Manhattan. I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will settle the war in Ukraine as president-elect. And remember this, a vote for Comrade Kamala Harris is a vote for war with Russia. Would anybody like to be in war with Russia? If necessary, we would. We're not, you know, but preferably not, right? Don't you think? It's also a vote to bring back the draft. Would anybody like to be drafted in the audience? Because that's what they're doing. She's already talking about bringing back the draft. She wants to bring back the draft and draft your child and put them in a war that should never have happened. Remember, Russia would have never attacked Ukraine, ever, and didn't for 4 years. And remember this, when Bush was president, he gave up a lot to Russia. When Barack Hussein Obama was president, gave up a lot to Russia. When Biden was president, going to give up the whole thing to Russia, it looks like. But when Trump was president, he gave up nothing to Russia, zero. I gave up nothing. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. And a vote for Comrade Kamala Harris is a vote to obliterate Israel and fast. Israel is going to be blown off the face of the earth if she becomes the president of the United States. I hate to say it. I've always backed Israel. They will not have a chance if she went to a party instead when your prime minister came to the United States and spoke before Congress, which is a big event. She went to a sorority party instead. She found that more important. Ready? Israel will be blown off the face of the earth. It will not exist if she becomes president of the United States.